Welcome to Tech Talk, y'all.
Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk, y'all. Season 11, episode 297. I'm Adam Walker.
And I'm Sanjay Park. We're 3 episodes away from 300. You realize
Man,
that?
we should plan a celebration of sorts.
Celebrate good
300.
times.
Come on.
300?
Yeah, you missed
episodes?
it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, listen.
I can't ad-lib lyrics that well.
In this episode, we have a lot. I mean, again, we just keep having a lot. There's just no way around it. There's so much going on. We have a whole section for X, Twitter, I don't know. There's a little bit of threads in there. We got to talk about Zoom. There's some crazy stuff there. We got weird and wacky about USB ports that may or may not exist. And of course, Tech Rec's coming at you at the end that you're going to want to be a part of for sure. So, let's not delay.
You would think that people would just chill out during the summer, but these people are just doing way too much.
They're not having
they need to calm down.
Summer. Yeah, they need to calm down. They're being too loud. So, all right, let's speaking of being too loud, let's start out. Musk's X. I hate that. Musk's X to pay legal bills of people, quote, unfairly treated for posting on platforms. So
doesn't that sound like a cologne, by the way? Musk X.
It absolutely does. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's not a cologne I would wear, but
no. But so apparently, he's claiming that people are being unfairly treated for being a part of the X platform, presumably because
previously Twitter, really.
Yeah.
And then losing their jobs or whatever.
Yeah. And
they're going to pay because all the money they have from all the new advertisers that don't exist, they're going to pay for this.
It makes no sense. It's just, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm wondering how many Harvard Business Review case studies are going to come out of this.
So many.
It's not just one.
They're writing them now. They're drafting them right now.
I mean, you've got to, because otherwise you're not going to be able to keep up and remember everything that happened.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
It's too much. It's insane.
And what else is too much and insane? Well, actually, this actually makes sense from the user standpoint. Twitter, it says Twitter, even though it's X. I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Gives verified users the option to hide their check mark of shame because, I think the better thing to do is if you're shameful of paying for it, don't pay for it.
I just love that it called it the check mark of shame.
It is the check mark of shame.
It is the check mark of shame. It's the greatest thing.
You know what somebody should make? Somebody should make a magnetic check mark of shame, and then people should stick it on the backs of people's cars who are paying for Twitter, so you know them in real life. And hopefully they don't see that magnetic bumper sticker.
That reminds me, I was watching, apparently, I think it was George Clooney was talking about how he likes to prank people on some show. And one of the pranks he pulls is he'll put a license plate, like frame around their license plate, because most people don't really ever pay attention to their license plate.
Right.
So on the back of some famous person's car, I think it might've been Brad Pitt, but I forget who it was. He put a license plate frame on it that said "F the police." it took that person a long time to find. So similarly, we could get a magnet check mark of shame and just pop it onto people's cars just to
That's
mess
what I'm
with them.
thinking.
Yeah, I like that. That's a pretty good prank.
That license plate thing is much better than the Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop and the banana in the tailpipe thing. That was a good one because that's a long running prank there.
Good. All right, France's AFP sues Musk's X social media, cites refusal to discuss payment for news. So apparently there's some law in France that went into effect that said social media sites have to be willing to enter into discussions with news organizations regarding payment for news. And of course, Musk responded and was like, hey, look, this is insane. We're sending traffic to your site where you're showing ads and making money based on the traffic, and you're not sharing that ad revenue with us and you want us to pay you. That's nuts. And I actually agree. It's insane for them to pay for that. I can't imagine a scenario where that makes any sense.
Yeah. So I understand the other side of the argument because these laws have cropped up in a lot of places. There's one in Canada and there's other places in Europe as well.
Right.
And the thinking goes is that these platforms generate more traffic for themselves by having this content that they didn't create.
That's true.
And a lot of the people just read the headlines and they don't actually click through. So they're not getting the benefit of this content and this effort that they created. But But then again, the other side of it is too, like, yeah, you're getting the traffic, like that traffic would disappear. And we've seen that in some of these places where Facebook and Google with Google News has shut off access to certain sites or to certain countries. And there has been a huge drop in traffic, which has affected advertising and revenue rates for these sites.
Well, and look at it this way, right? Like let's say, for example, that there was some kind of agreement where a social platform said, okay, there's a law, you have to negotiate and pay to a news site. Well, then what's going to happen is there's going to be some reputable news site like the Post or something. It's going to say, okay, we want X amount per article. And then somebody else is going to come along and be like, okay, we want $0 per article. And I mean, of course, the $0 per article is going to be all over the thing. They're just going to get way more traffic and they're going to dominate in that scenario. And so I mean, even if it goes down that path, like it's still not going to work out in the way that they're thinking it's going to work out. You know what I mean?
I think this is just, it's such an area that's fraught with issues that we still haven't figured out the right answer. I mean, these news organizations need to generate revenue. Otherwise there is no news. All we'll have is AI generated news, which we know right now, not good.
Right.
People with 6 fingers, like all kinds of stuff will happen. So we need real humans doing good reporting and putting a light on things that are bad that everybody needs to know about. So I don't know how this all kind of shakes out. I don't know what the answer is. I think some of these sites, it really does behoove them to figure out a way to support journalism and content creation like this. And not just, 3-second TikTok videos and things like that. I think we need more than that. But somebody else that needs more than what they've got, Threads user count falls to new lows, highlighting retention challenges.
Dude.
To be honest, I'm not really opening Threads.
I'm not in there.
Still on my phone.
Zero times in the last week. 0 times have I been in there.
I think I opened it up today for the first time in maybe a week.
I think that, so a couple thoughts. I believe it said the traffic or the usage is down like 88%.
Yeah,
I believe,
huge.
Which is that's wild. To your point, it also said like just
if that was a regular startup, they would be
they're done. They're done.
Right? But it's Facebook or Meta, and they have tons of money.
The other thing it said is like people aren't opening the app, which is true for me. The other thing is I really wonder if so. And you've talked about this, like you've talked about how like you got out of the habit of Twitter, and so now you're not in it. And like I wonder if there's been this interesting convergence where some of us, myself included, have gotten more into like TikTok and Reels and like consuming content more like that. And the purge of Twitter, the running from Twitter, sort of made me lean more into that type of content consumption. And now that I can sort of go back and I can scroll through that sort of feed, I just don't really want to. Like, I just don't. It's not appealing at all to me anymore. So I wonder if like the norms in our usage and our habits just changed by default because of how the market shifted, and now trying to come back to it's just not going to work out very well. So
by the way, one thing that hasn't been discussed that much, and it just kind of dawned on me that I hadn't even talked about it while you were talking, is this other sites that have leveraged the logon capabilities of sites like Twitter. So, Twitter had that login via Twitter, just like Google has and all these other sites. And I think I found a couple of my sites that that was the way I logged in because that was the only option back then. I think Product Hunt was actually one of them. And it just highlights how much of an issue this could be, because what if a site like that you rely on for your users to log in suddenly goes away?
It's gone.
And we've seen like it can suddenly go away. And then what happens? You've just now lost your entire user base and you have no way for them to log back in again. And you've got to start out over again at zero.
Fresh,
so I think it's for the folks that are out there that develop sites and think about how users log in. I think you need to take a really hard look and make sure that the way that you're getting people to log in makes sense for you kind of on the long term, especially if those sites end up going away.
All right, staying a little bit on the Elon-ish theme. Again, apologies. How Tesla's yarn unspooled. So there's kind of this, this yarn or this storyline that Elon sort of ushered in the EV age. And he did that by creating cars that had way more longevity, which wasn't exactly perfectly true, hence the yarn. And by also creating cars that all these amazing features like full autopilot that's not in any way full autopilot, and getting people to pay for it. And so basically, I think the argument, there's this growing argument that he's actually done more harm to the EV growth than good. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. So this the original post was posted on Threads, which we just talked about, but now deleted. By Dustin Muskovitz, who was a former founder of Facebook and co-founder of Asana, and he basically says that the progress that's happened has been basically focused on one company, Tesla, whereas it's basically a foundation of lies, right? The range that the cars could get is a lie. All the software that what it could do is still a lie, still not
mislabeled.
It's still not been realized to the label that it's been given. And the money that could have gone into those other companies that were making EVs got funneled into just one company. Tesla's market cap, it says it was 850 billion versus just 50 billion for Ford. So if some of that money had gone to some of these other car makers, they would have made more progress instead of it all being concentrated on one. And I don't know. I think it's a reasonable argument, but I also wonder, would those other car companies have been pushed into doing this aside from having one big competitor that's just kind of going after it, right?
Yeah, to me, like that, I think that's the argument, right? Because I think like when Tesla like shockingly became more valuable than Ford and GM. Like that's really the only time that they were like, oh crap, we got to do something about this. Like I don't think you'd have the Ford F-150 Lightning if it wasn't for that fact. And so I mean, I think in the reality too, is these things are so complex with so many variables and so many inputs. There's no really real way to know, but it's an interesting conversation anyway.
But jealousy drives a lot of human behavior, and when you see somebody else that's getting all the press and all the accolades, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I can do that too.
That's right.
Next up in the Tesla block here, hackers managed to unlock Tesla software locked features worth up to $15,000. So basically they used a injection attack on the voltage system to hack it, and they basically say like, yeah, the only way to fix this and secure the car would be to recall all of them and replace hardware, which, that's not happening because that's a lot of cars.
Wow.
So it's basically a jailbreak for Tesla features. So you probably shouldn't pay for that full self-driving, which is not really full self-driving.
No, it's not.
Because you could just jailbreak it. Oh, heated seats, acceleration boost, all of that stuff.
All the stuff.
You could just unlock without having to pay for it. Because the hardware and software is already in the car.
Already there. It's ready to go. Just got to have the key.
Just got to unlock it. Yeah. So this is a big oops, and we'll see what they do with. Yeah. Maybe they'll fix it on Cybertruck. Cybertruck.
I still think that thing's ugly. All right. Moving on, we got a Google block for you. Google takes a page out of Twitter's book, invites employees to sleep on campus for a fees. They got a hotel on campus. You can sleep there for $100 a night. So listen. So my first thought was, this is terrible. They should be doing this for free. That was my first thought.
Right.
But my second, but then I listened to a podcast where they were actually talking about this, and their point was they did the math, and in where Google's headquarters is, if you stay there every night, that's about $3,000 a month, and apparently $3,000 a month is real cheap for a place to stay in that area. They were like, so this is actually a really good deal, and so like I never really would have thought of it that way. Seems like a terrible deal to me, but apparently depends on how you look at it. So
yeah,
okay. I still feel like it's dumb. I mean, like you don't need to be on, like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I probably the other part of the thing that they're worried about is if you do make it free, what prevents people from just being like, done?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm reserving this room for the next 5 years, right?
Yeah,
like this is where I live.
And it just occurred to me too, like this could be, so I guess if they're doing hybrid work, let's say they're doing hybrid work,
right,
where people come in like 2 days a week. Well, let's like maybe during the pandemic, you moved 2.5 hours away from headquarters. So I guess this would make really, really good sense for that person. They come in, they spend 2 nights there. It's relatively quote unquote cheap by comparison, and then they go home. So
versus moving, for sure.
Yeah. So maybe it is a good option. I don't know. It's
2 nights, that's $200 a week. So $800 bucks a month.
Yeah.
Versus what they're getting paid. And,
yeah.
And you know what? They still get, do they still get their free lunches and stuff?
I think they still get food. I think the hotel stay also comes with food and everything else too. So, I mean, I think
I can make $800 worth of food up in 2 days a week for free food.
It's not bad.
And it's good free food, by the way. I've had it a couple times. It's pretty tasty. Next up in Google, Google is making reading mode settings slightly harder to access in Chrome. That's not great. We've talked about this. I don't know what to say here. It's like,
I mean, they want you to see the ads. That's all it is. They just want you to see. They're ad driven. They're just
this comes on the heel of the article we talked about, I think last week, about the whole DRMing the web so that you can't remove ads.
Yeah.
And now they're like, hey, on top of that, we're going to make sure you can't get reading mode easily.
Yeah.
And so they buried it in a menu. And you know, I got to be honest. I don't know that I use reading mode.
I don't use it
Firefox that often.
I don't.
But it is there, and every now and again I do use it.
I should,
and it is nice when I do. But
for sure.
Maybe this should make me use it more because give props to the reading mode.
Speaking of something you might be using more, Google Messages turning on RCS by default. Group E2E encryption launches. So I assume this means that all the Google Messages are going to be encrypted now. Am I reading that right? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. So up until now, one-on-one messages have been encrypted, but group messages have not. Group messages are a little bit more complicated to do that with. But they've now enabled RCS by default. So if you've got somebody else that you're in a conversation with that is RCS enabled, which basically means anybody except somebody that has an iPhone, then you can, it automatically does RCS, which means you can start doing a lot of cool stuff. Read receipts work, seeing when they're typing works, like all this other kind of stuff works with RCS that did not work with SMS.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's enabled by default. You can turn it off if you want to on a per conversation basis.
Oh, nice.
But part of that is then the encryption that happens as well. So, so now when you're in group chats, just like in WhatsApp or in Signal group, everything is encrypted. I don't know anything about the level of encryption and if it's possible for them to spy on you. If you're really worried, I would still use Signal and not anything else. But this is a good step.
Yeah, it works.
Keep your stuff safe. Stuff safe. Yeah. Talking about somebody that's not keeping your stuff safe, or at least summarizing it. I don't know. YouTube uses AI to summarize videos in latest test. So instead of watching that 2-minute video, because 2 minutes is way too long now, I guess you can watch a 3-second video or something. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I actually read this article.
The title is the article, basically.
They don't say how long the videos are or how long the summarized videos are.
I mean, I think there's a use for this. I think it could be helpful in a lot of situations. I don't really have much to say about it, to be honest with you.
Do you watch a lot of YouTube videos? I don't watch that many videos.
Not really, not that many, no. Yeah. But I know my kids watch an insane amount, so it's
same here.
The generational divide there is a little different.
Every now and then, when I land on there's some interesting videos. I'm like, I don't know how to put a new power outlet in a wall. Not that I'm going to do that, but it's always just nice to see something like that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Zoom here. The remote work revolution is officially dead. Zoom just told employees to return to the office. That's not exactly perfectly correct. What Zoom did is they said, if you're an employee within 50 miles of the office, you have to go to the office 2 days a week. So they're not like fully returning. They're trying to go hybrid. I do still think this is a big mistake on their part, specifically because there's Zoom. And the whole point is that you don't have to go in because you have Zoom. So you
have the thing that you make.
This is like a PR fiasco. Like it really is. Like I don't know who's running their comms, but they should not be. So,
I wonder how many of their employees are like, hey, I need to find a house that's 10 miles that away.
Yeah, 51 miles. I need to move. I'm sure, like you go to the realtor and like, okay, listen. I need a house that's 51 or more miles from this location. Go. Like
it's like the inverse of what you usually do with a realtor. Like, hey, I want to live in these neighborhoods. I don't want to live within 51 miles of this place. I live anywhere, just not 51 miles.
Anywhere but there.
Inside of this circle is bad.
Yeah, and we had another article. It was the same thing, so I won't even bother with that.
Something that Zoom's doing that I'm not so happy about. Zoom can now train its AI using some customer data according to its updated terms. Initially, there was some talk about they could do it without your permission, but now I think they've changed it or said something. They clarified.
When you opt in to use their AI, then you're agreeing to have some of your data used by their AI for deeper learning. So
for not just you, for their whole thing.
So maybe don't use their AI if you're concerned about that, or just don't talk about anything that that you're concerned about. That's also fine too.
Right? So, like this is the problem that we talked about before, where people have uploaded internal private code to a AI to get help with it, and then that code then starts showing up other places. You should not take your trade secret stuff and do it somewhere where it's getting harvested. Like, I don't know. That seems like a bad idea.
That seems like a really, really bad idea. So, all right. Next up, new acoustic attack steals data from keystrokes with 90% accuracy, and not only 90% accuracy, 93% accuracy when the acoustic data was recorded over Zoom. So Sanjay, hold on, pause. Let me make sure I understand what I read in this article, because this is freaking me out. So if I understood this article right, they can record me typing, audio record me typing on my MacBook Pro. And with 95% accuracy, tell the keystrokes that I typed. And not only that, but they can also record me typing on my MacBook Pro through Zoom. So if I'm on Zoom and I'm not paying attention, I start typing, and they capture that audio, they can tell what I've typed with this. Is that it? Am I understanding this correctly?
One adjustment on that second part. So here's where it really, like, they need to capture what you're typing and the sounds that you're typing. So if you type in the chat in Zoom, then they know what you typed, and then they can have the sounds of what you typed. And then based on that, then can correlate all that stuff. And now with 95% accuracy, know what you've typed just based on your sound, 93 to 95% accuracy.
So are you saying for the attack to work, they have to be able to compare something I typed and hear and record me typing at the same time? Then later they can correlate that, and then they can actually start like just telling it just from the audio. Is that what you're saying?
I'm sure there's a way to do it without knowing what you typed.
Okay.
Because just doing a frequency analysis based on the words that people type and figuring it out over time, they probably need a larger sample set for that.
Right.
So if they know what you typed, it's a lot less information than they need. So imagine having a camera. You're in a coffee shop. There is a camera there. And there's audio recording as well, right? And the camera can see your laptop.
Oh, no.
Then it knows what you're typing, the letters you're typing, and the sounds. And then when you're typing into a field that is hidden, like a password field, it's going to know what you typed with 95% accuracy.
That is freaking terrifying right there. Like,
This, again, is the reason why you should use a password manager, because you can just copy paste.
Type it.
You don't have to type it.
But I have a question. Do you know what I just typed?
I don't have the algorithm in my head.
Okay, I was just checking.
I appreciate how you think I'm that good.
I just like, want to know.
We used to have jokes back in the day of being able to decode modem carrier sounds on the phone. Nobody can actually do that.
No. Oh no, that's a Weston. What? Not Western. Western Digital. Was that a modem type? That's a
hard drive type. That's a Hayes. Hayes.
Hayes. Okay, Hayes. There we go. Okay, I got you.
My first modem was actually an Avatex, but Hayes compatible.
Fair enough.
Next up, the true shape of lithium revealed for the first time. How do we not know what lithium looks like until now?
I don't know that I really understood this art, because it was like, hey, we use lithium ion batteries, but lithium metal batteries would be better, but they're like, prone to catch fire and explode. So maybe they're not the best. But then if we did this, they could. I don't really understand what this whole thing is like. Can you walk me through this?
Yeah. So basically, we've not really understood the shape of lithium and lithium metal ions up until now. So they've. I don't remember how they figured out what the shape is. They use something, but anyways, the problem with lithium metal is that it corrodes almost instantly. So we've never really known the shape.
Right.
But if you can figure out how to use metallic lithium, then it could pack 10 times more lithium than a lithium ion battery.
Got it.
Right. So much more energy, also relatively lightweight, I think, as well. Right. So they've now figured out the shape. And the funny part of this article was they compared it to, what is it? A dodecahedron dice like you used in Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. A 12-sided dice, similar to the dice used in role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, oh, I instantly knew what that was because I used that dice many times when I was younger. Anyways, so they figured out the structure of this thing. And so they figured out a way to actually manufacture it so that it doesn't corrode immediately, which means it won't catch on fire. And so metallic lithium is less likely to catch on fire if you can have a stable version of it compared to a lithium ion battery. And then on top of it, you get 10 times the energy
I like that
inside of it. So there is a lot of fascinating battery technology. And I think we've said this before. Yeah. If you're thinking about buying an electric vehicle, you might want to lease or rent, because I think in a few years, there's going to be some major leaps forward in battery technology, as well as maybe the ways you charge these vehicles that you don't want to be stuck with, last year's model. So
that's right.
There you go.
All right. Next up, City of Hope scientists develop targeted chemotherapy able to kill all solid tumors in preclinical research. So this was pretty remarkable.
This is hot.
Yeah, I mean, there's the study was like just recently published, and I think they're targeting a protein they originally were not able to target. They couldn't figure out how to do it. Somehow they figured out how to target the protein, and in being able to target the protein, they're then able to target the tumors and eliminate the tumors, which is kind of like what cancer is. So that's kind of amazing, right?
Yeah, this is pretty incredible. And I didn't know anything about this City of Hope, but it's one of the largest research, cancer research and treatment organizations in the US. And it seems like they just do cancer in general, right? It's not a specific cancer. So incredible. Talking about battery technology being awesome in the companies. This cancer research might be incredible. In a few years, we might be like, cancer's no big deal.
Listen, I mean,
just go get a shot.
Like that. Well, I mean, you say shot, like they're working on a cancer vaccine as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's lots of really amazing research in this area. This just being one of those things, which is pretty fantastic. So
yeah, very hopeful about that. And somebody else that's very hopeful, NASA reaches out to Voyager 2 with a last ditch shout across the void. So we talked about this previously. They lost contact with Voyager 2 because they shifted it by 2 degrees. 2 degrees apparently can be quite a bit when you're millions of miles away, and it can be. We've been shouting at aliens for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And so they got Voyager 2 back. They used a dish in Australia to send a command. I guess it must have just skimmed by Voyager 2 and it picked it up and it reoriented itself. So
all right,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I like the
you would think that something that's millions of miles away, that like just going to Australia and sending the signal shouldn't like really fix it, but I guess that was enough.
I guess so. That's wild. There you go.
Time for the weird and wacky segment.
Abominable snowman.
He's not an axe
One of the TAs turned out to be a bot.
All right, first up in Weird and Wacky, Mattel wants to pay you, or somebody, $277 an hour to play Uno. So this is for you big Uno player? You're big, okay.
I'm a huge Uno player.
This is for their new Uno game called Uno Quattro. And they want someone to go, I think, around New York City and play games for 4 hours a day for a couple of weeks and create social content from that gameplay. And the rate is apparently $277 an hour. I'm not sure what the significance is of that, but there you go.
Wasn't there a joke channel on a movie, like the Dodgeball movie or something called The Quattro? I feel like that was.
I have no idea. Yeah. That's too obscure for me. I don't know. That's
Come
just
on, you've got to be
too
good
far
with
out there. You're too far out there. I don't have it.
I feel like a listener should let us know if somebody knows this. I swear there was a movie where it was the Ocho. The Ocho.
Okay.
Yeah. I mixed up my words there. Yeah. The Ocho. And I think that might have been Dodgeball, but new Uno game. Are you going to play this new Uno game?
I mean, yeah, man, I'm up for an Uno game. 100%. I'll give it a shot.
We might have to buy this. I wonder, I'm assuming the game's already out. So
Yeah.
But what else is out is a printer with no USB port, but maybe it does. Pay no attention to the USB port behind the no USB sticker.
Yeah.
So our friends over at HP, yeah. So they put out a printer and it supposedly doesn't have a USB port. It's got a sticker that says, use our app. There is no port. You peel away the sticker and there is a USB port behind it. They're basically trying to make you use their app and use cloud printing instead of actually just using the port.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. This feels a little off to me. Like, so
you think that's not true?
Well, okay. So I'm looking at the photos, right? And so the photo of the sticker with the port. So there's a sticker over the port. The sticker shows the Wi-Fi signal. It's got a USB thing with a circle and a line through it, basically saying like, don't use USB. But the sticker is obviously meant to be peeled off because it's got an arrow in the bottom left that shows that you should peel it off. And there's a USB symbol immediately to the right of where the sticker is, indicating that there's a USB port there. So I feel like,
yeah, I see it. It's kind of, it's in the shadows there. But why does it say no USB?
I don't know. That's confusing. So it makes me wonder if like on the documentation for the printer, does it say like this doesn't have USB or something like that? Like maybe that would be different, but I see this post and like it was on The Verge and stuff and whatever, but like I'm not sure that's real.
But maybe just like they didn't remove the USB port, they didn't remove the imprinting that this is a USB port right next to it. And they're just trying to stick the sticker on there to make you think that, use the app.
Why would the sticker have the peel away arrow on it showing that you should peel it off?
Because they're just that bad.
I mean,
they're not.
It feels to me like you're jumping through a lot of hurdles to make them look bad. I feel like
this might be made up.
What's the law that like the simplest answer is probably the truth, right? Like, I feel like we're skirting that here, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying. I just saw
the main thing. I didn't dig into like, is this sticker real or not?
Yeah,
this could be totally made up.
Yeah. Well, in that case.
Tech wreck, time to get your tech wreck.
Tech wreck, chicky.
Tech wreck, time to get your tech wreck.
Okay, Adam, it is tech wreck time. What do you have for us this week?
Okay, so recently I found myself in need of a tripod. And I reached out to a buddy of mine that is a professional videographer, and I was like, dude, I need a tripod. And he was like, great, here's the one, 1,000 times this one. And I looked at it, and that tripod looked amazing, and its price tag was $375. And I was like, nope, that's never going to happen. And so I reached back out to that same friend. I was like, great, do you have something on the cheap end? So then he sent me the link to this tripod, which in his mind is the cheap end, and in my mind is by far the most expensive I was ever going to pay for a tripod because it was like $110. In my mind, that's a magical tripod that flies. But whatever. So I'm going to recommend the Benro Slim Aluminum Lightweight Travel Tripod Kit that is actually a very, very good tripod. Best I've ever owned of the very few that I've had in my whole life. And it was like $110, which again is the maximum budget I was willing to pay. But it was great. And I think it's worth the $110. So I'm going to recommend that.
I think you and I should create a new tripod and call it the tripod that flies.
You're gonna go buy tripodthatflies.com.
Tripodthatflies.com. Yeah. I'm sure that is available.
I feel like for $375, the tripod should shoot the video for me and like maybe also edit it.
It should walk to the place, do the video, edit it, and then come back on its own. It's a fully autonomous tripod.
And like the thought process, because like you gotta understand, like I'm not a videographer, right? And so so to a videographer, like $375 for a tripod that's perfect is like a small price to pay. But for somebody that's not a videographer, it's like, you're joking, right? Like, are you punking me right now? Like, what is happening? Like, what? There's a tripod that costs $375? So there you go. That's
by the way, tripodthatflies.com is available in case you were wondering.
Did you really think it wasn't going to be available? Like,
you never know. I mean, the internet is a weird and wacky place.
Sure, but that's pretty obscure. So, all right, Sanjay, what do you have for us?
So, I have been waiting to give this tech rec. So it is for a Framework laptop. I think we've talked about this previously here. The website is frame.work. And I finally ordered one. One of the kids needed a new laptop. So I got the DIY edition. So there's two versions you can get. You can get the DIY edition where you have to build it yourself, or the pre-built version where they send it to you all built up and ready to go. You save about $200 with the DIY edition. Now, the DIY edition, I thought, hey, it was going to be a lot of stuff to assemble, but it is actually not that much. The computer comes with the main board already installed in the base case. So, and the display is already attached.
Yep.
The cables are already attached.
Right.
So all you have to do is install your memory and your RAM and your storage. If you didn't buy it with it, which I didn't. Yeah. I had that from another computer, so I was moving that over.
Okay.
The bezel for the display and the keyboard. That's it. I mean,
seems like easy, like the 5 minutes of work right there.
It was, I mean, probably I took my time and it was not more than 15 minutes.
Okay. So here's my question.
Yeah.
If you had to compare building your framework laptop with building an IKEA dresser or really an IKEA book or really anything from IKEA at all, which one's more difficult?
The IKEA one, for sure.
I mean,
the framework, they have web pages that walk you through exactly what to do with pictures and text. Whereas the IKEA, you got to figure out this blob figure guy.
Wait, I got to rotate it and I got to flip it upside down and rotate it 360 degrees. Is that what that's saying? What?
Why is he unhappy in this picture versus this picture? I don't understand the picture. Why is he frowny face here? And there's no text other than he's frowny face.
He did what he's not supposed to do. That's the lesson.
So I tell you, the laptop itself is so well designed. There's magnetic things like the bezel just kind of pops on. The keyboard just pops on. There's 5 screws on the bottom. But here's another thing that I really love about this is that the microphone and the camera that are in the display there, right on the top, they have little switches that go by them. The switches are not just covers for those. They actually physically disconnect those devices from the computer. So you know that nobody is watching or recording you because there is no way physically for the computer to access those devices because they are electrically disconnected from the rest of the system. Gotcha. I love that. And then the other thing I love, it has 4 ports on it on the side. So 2 on each side. You can buy whatever adapters you want. So you want 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A, you can do that. You want an Ethernet port and 3 HDMI, you can do that. Like you can mix and match the ports however you want. And on top of it, if you don't know what you want, you can buy just a bunch of them and then swap the ports out as you want as you're using the laptop. So, if you think like sometimes I need an Ethernet port, but most of the times I don't, well, just have it available and then don't use it and just pop it in whenever you want. So the flexibility there is pretty impressive. Yeah. And they've actually open sourced all of that as well. So regular people can actually make their own adapters. And some people I saw are making the USB-C that they have is only 1 port. Somebody's actually working on a 2-port USB-C. So you get 2 ports in that one little doomajiggy.
So a couple quick things. I just went to the frame.work site so first of all, it's a beautiful computer. Like, wow, it is really well. Like it looks very similar to like a MacBook almost. Yeah. Like very similar. The touchpad is huge. Yeah. Huge touchpad. And the price point is not nearly what I was expecting. Like it shows the 740 series here for $850, which is that's way cheaper than I was expecting. So
and you can get Intel or AMD. Whichever you want. Mine came, I had pre-ordered it because they were doing a batch. Mine came, it shipped from Taiwan. FedEx got it in a couple of days. And so, I mean, that's wild. It's really impressive. And I like the fact that everything is upgradable. So you don't need to just chuck this and get a new laptop. You still like your laptop. You just need a new processor. You can just change out that main board. And it's like you have a whole new computer. That's crazy. So, that's wild. It's great stuff. All right, Sanjay, we're going to do what we haven't done the last couple of weeks, just in case. How can our listeners find and connect with you should they desire to? Maybe they don't want to. I don't know. They can find me on my website, sanjayparekh.com, SanjayParekh.com. What about you, Adam? My website, adamjwalker.com. It's got links to all the stuff, and that's the place to go for all the Beanie Babies. So you know what we also need to ask our listeners, the Beanie Babies. What we also need to ask our listeners is to give us I noticed that we don't have many 5-star ratings on Spotify.
Yeah.
So if you can go and rate us on Spotify with a 5 stars, that would be great.
And then if you could create another fake account and rate us there again.
The problem is you actually have to listen to at least one episode of Tech Talk Y'all on Spotify before they allow you to listen to it. So listen to one episode, give us 5 stars. You're not even able to write a review. So you don't even have to do that. It's just click and push some buttons.
5 stars, 5 stars.
Say rated 5 stars. Done.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.